Welcome back to BombFish Plays Fez. The last episode we figured out the security puzzle. Well, not really figured it out, but entered it. Now I'm going to explain a little bit about how that was actually discovered. A person who was actually into game development was very, very puzzled by this puzzle. And he decided that it was going to basically be his mission in life to solve it. So what he did is he used the book, the tome, and found, there we go. And he figured out that you have to read this book not like this, but in like a three-dimensional manner. Like you have to go like first page 2, then to page 8 or whatever. I don't know the exact order. And he did this by figuring out that, well, he remembered that in a book he'd read about code breaking, that oftentimes code breakers would just start with a guess. Because if you don't have anywhere to start, there's no way you can break a code. So even if you're doing something wrong, it might lead you to the right path. And so what he did was he wanted to try and find Metatron. Now, he'd already learned the alphabet, whether through the jumping brown fox or just through the brute force of the community, I'm not sure. But he knew what the letters should be. And so he started writing out all the pages of the tome on paper. And on his commute to work on the train, he'd work through them. And Metatron, he picked that because it's a hexahedron, not Metatron, hexahedron is what he picked. Because it's mentioned many times in the lore of the game, and it's kind of strange. It's long, so it's kind of unique, and it has unique letters, X, particularly. So he found all instances of X, I think, and then started going to that location. So what he'd do is he would, so let's say row 4, 3 over, maybe that's an X. Well, then he would go to this one, row 4 and 3 over, and see if there was, X, hexa, so an A. He'd try and find an A, and if he found it, then he'd try and find an H, again for hedron, and on he'd go until he finally found it and was able to decipher the tome. Okay, so I just looked it up, and the pages are read in order 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, 7, 4, 8, and it contains haikus, and I'll read them for you. From out of nowhere, impossible visitors are benefactors, watching over us in the hidden folds of space, in front of behind. Give the golden gift, a deep revelation, our eyes wide open. Shapes to tessellate with sacred geometry, an empire to build. A new perspective, things unseen, but always there, a new direction. The hexahedron, the 64-bit name of God, the point of origin. A pattern, a code, a deep understanding, a gate to the stars. All of time and space, and the space outside of space. Where does it end? And that's what the tome says. Now, I guess you could have used the owl to find the kind of to decipher the tome, as the owl's the hexahedron, the 64-bit name of God, the point of origin. You could have at least found that first one in there. So, yeah, that's the tome, and I guess you can decipher that, and it helps you with other things, I guess. So, we are still missing 2 cubes. Let's see. No, we're not. No, we're missing 2 anti-cubes. Okay, good. I was getting a little bit concerned. So we're missing 2 anti-cubes still. And on the map, we have the monolith, and we have, come back, we have this rotator puzzle. So I'm going to actually go back to the monolith. So we're back at the black monolith. Now, unfortunately, I can't explain to you how anybody knows this code. Well, I can explain how we know it, but I can't explain how you're supposed to find it in the game because nobody knows it yet. This was found by decompiling the game itself when it was released on PC. Somebody tore it apart and found this combination. So down, down, left trigger, right trigger, A, up. Oh, come on now. Down, down, left trigger, right trigger, A, up. Come on now. Oh, I think I'm standing in the wrong place. Yeah. Oops. I need to position myself. On top of this. Okay, that might be close enough. So down, down, left trigger, right trigger, A, up. And we get the third red cube piece thing. You found it. What is this? I don't even... Same response. Something interesting is we also haven't found... We don't have any indication that we have a red cube. So that's the black monolith. Unfortunately, there's no explanation as to why this is there. Nobody can figure out where it comes from or anything. My theory is that it has to do with the soundtrack spectrogram pictures, which I will show you probably at the very end, since it's a puzzle left unknown. But now the only thing left on our map that we can really get to is this, so I will travel up there and meet you there. Alright, so we're back at the area that gave us our movement codes. Up there, that little thing showed us what code was what, so it looks as though I may not have ever finished or done this one. So I don't have a piece of paper, so I'm just going to try to do it off the top of my head. So it's going to be an up, A, right trigger, left trigger, A, down, left trigger, right trigger. Yeah, okay. So there's an anti-cube. Never did this one even though we'd been here. So, we have one more anti-cube left. Where could it possibly be? Well, the only place for it to be is possibly right here, because there's nowhere else that has an open area. Come on now. I want to look at the sewers. Yeah, there's nothing down here. Alright, so it looks as though the only place for us to go is back to the bell tower. And then to this tree. Alright, so here we are back at the tree. We're almost there. I don't know where the last anti-cube is supposed to be. Alright, well I'm going to look for it, and I'll be back. I thought it would be here. Okay, I forgot that there are actually anti-cubes for achievements. There we go. I forgot about that one. And I just happened to somehow, during the game, not trigger that. So that is our final cube. Incredible! You found every single cube and anti-cube. That's quite an achievement. If I were you, I'd go back to that Stargate. No, because I have a 64 cube door, although we will go back to the Stargate. What do we have in here? Oh, it's a heart. I'm gonna try and fly and touch it real quick. Nope. So, this is the heart room. Now, it says that we are finished with it. However, there is a secret here, and this is another one that nobody understands how to get other than to look at the code, which is how, I'm looking at a GameSpot form that says decompiled fez.exe and found a heart room secret. So I will demonstrate it for you. So you open the menu and you look at the letters artifact and enter left trigger, right trigger, right trigger, left trigger, right trigger, left trigger, left trigger, left trigger. Now the numbers artifact, right trigger, right trigger, right trigger, left trigger, right trigger, right trigger, left trigger, left trigger. And it triggers a faux reboot. Now there is a... Why do I hear music? You don't normally hear music immediately. That's kind of strange, I don't think. Now everything's the same. I don't have any more powers than I normally do. I don't think I've ever looked around in here. But some people theorize that this is it's like an Easter egg. It's not really supposed to do anything. Some people think it's, a huge clue or whatever. But others think it's just kind of an Easter egg put in there because the developers knew that when they released for PC, I'm just going to fly and get back to the heart room real quick, but I need to talk to you guys. That when they released for the PC, there are many more, there are many more tools available on the PC, and it's much easier to disassemble code, that it was meant to be kind of an Easter egg saying, oh, you broke our hearts by disassembling our code. Because you saw that little heart cube kind of disintegrate. Now the only thing that's strange, where's the bell? Well, not the only thing, this whole game is strange, but one of the strange things, I guess this is the bell. Yeah, that's the bell. One of the strange things is that there's actually a variable in the code that triggers it. It checks to make sure to see whether or not this reboot thing has been performed, but that variable is not checked anywhere else as far as anybody who's looked at the code can tell. So it's stored, but it's never referenced. Now there are theories that say that, oh, this was supposed to be for Fez 2. That, oh, did you do the entire thing? This is a variable that would carry over in the save file that Fez 2 could check for and see if you've actually completed the entire game. But you'll notice that the fountains have turned off and the heart is gone. And that's it. That's all there is. So the next thing we have to do is get to the Stargate. Crap, not die on the way. I'll just fly this way. Actually, I'm going to fly up and... Well, that's kind of strange. I want to just kind of float this way. See if there's anything out here. I doubt it. So it's an interesting predicament the community of Fez has. Because Philfish, when he was, had a decent relationship with the gamer community, was just notoriously tight-lipped. He would not give a single hint, and I'm sure he took very much pleasure in us struggling with it, and that's fine. But now that the gamer community has, royally pissed him off, I doubt we'll ever get answers. So I need to go to the Stargate. Wherever the heck that is. I've completely forgotten. And I will join you when I get there. Okay, we've returned to the Stargate. It's Dot's messaging. Amazing. Working Stargate. No. This brings us back to our goofy, floaty planet. But we've seen this planet actually in the telescope. This is a different planet in the same solar system. Or at least we're led to believe that by the kind of purple hue of this planet and the purple color of the planet we saw in the telescope. So I just gotta kind of float my way up there. Come on. Ah. Okay, almost there. There's the owl. See if we can catch it on this go around. There we go. If you remember the first time, we didn't have enough cubes to fill this. But now we do. And we get another faux reboot. Let's see what happens this time. Back in our bed. We still have our first person perspective. But it feels like the camera's moving. Moving out this time. The first time it moved in. Oh, I tried to make it. Oh, I died. Huh. I tried to make it up to the top before I couldn't see anymore. There's a hypercube. So the best explanation I've heard of that is that it first shows zooming out of the Fez universe to the multiverse, and then zooming out of the multiverse into a four-dimensional brain that contains our particular multiverse, and then zooming out to show that there are, many such multiverse brains, and then doing that whole TV flip-off thing. Not sure what that's for. So that is Fez. Now we're not quite done, because I need to show and talk about some of the spectrograms. I will introduce those, I guess, right now, as we watch the credits again. The spectrograms are a way of analyzing sound, or any kind of waveform. And in these particular spectrograms, there are pictures hidden. And they are as diverse as the Dunny number 6, I think, from Myst, to, what are they? There's a bunch of them, and I'll explain the ones that I can find. But nobody's figured out what to do with them yet. They are some part of a greater metagame that many believe is the key to the Black Monolith, or also the key to the heart puzzle. So that is that, and I will rejoin you when the credits are through. So I've actually forgotten one thing. 209.4% complete. Start New Game Plus. We're not quite done yet. We're close. Not quite. And then I'll talk about the spectrograms. We need to go to top of village. Again. Ha, there are you. Today is special day. Adventure is ready. It's Gomez time. Anytime now. Just you. There you go. Yet again, back to the hexahedron in the Elder's room. No, the little Fez is on. Still know what that says. Even though we're supposed to by now, I still don't know what it says. Oh yeah, 3D shades. You can toggle stereoscopy in the options. That's right. This entire game has the ability to be played in 3D, which is strange. I'm somewhat convinced that there are secrets hidden with the 3D. Main processor, 23 megahertz. Alright. I'm convinced there's a secret hidden with the 3D, but nobody to my knowledge has found one yet. Hard part's getting freaking 3D glasses. I don't just have a pair of those sitting around. I used to when I was a kid because everything was 3D, but not anymore. Well, everything was like red and blue 3D. So there we go. For those of you at home who happen to have 3D glasses. Oh. Ugh. Motion sick. Even the first person view is 3D. Now that is officially it. Well, I guess the map's not 3D. That is officially all there is to Fez, as far as I can tell you. So, we'll talk to you now about the hidden spectrogram images. And so, we have reached the end of our journey in Fez. But that isn't to say that we've discovered everything yet. What I have on the screen now are images from the soundtrack. These pictures are actually encoded in the sound files as low-level noise, which can be visualized as using a spectrogram. Now, many of them are still unknown, and even the ones where we've figured out what the picture is, we don't know what they're for. Many theorize that this is part of an alternate reality game, in which these pictures will lead us to an answer outside of the game. And this is somewhat backed up, people say, by the 64-bit ending, showing at the very end what looks like a CRT TV turning off, indicating that we should look beyond the game, beyond the screen, to find the answers. But those answers have yet to be found. Even though the game has been out for nearly 2 years, nothing has been really accomplished with this. So, where does that leave us? Well, unfortunately not with Fez 2. Phil Fish suffered an incredible amount of abuse at the hands of gamers who found it their personal mission to make his life basically a living hell. And he's quit gaming. He's not just quit Fez 2, but all of gaming. And unfortunately, I think that leaves indie gaming especially a lot poorer. Hopefully, he will come back. He will be the bigger man and come back. And maybe we can look forward to answers in the future. But let's talk about Fez. Why is Fez so great? In my opinion, Fez is great because it is immersive. Through and through. Every part of it is there to immerse you a little bit more. It hints at a story, but doesn't tell you right out. It doesn't give you a cutscene that tells you everything you need to know. It quietly and subtly gives you tiny little pieces. Oh, this was a mining facility. Oh, this is an old civilization. Maybe they're linked, who knows? And it's your job, through the puzzles, sometimes maddeningly difficult puzzles, to figure out what's going on. And if you persevere, you're rewarded, and that's what makes this game great, is the reward for the puzzles, when you finally have that aha moment that I figured it out. That, coupled with an amazing soundtrack, and a really unique gameplay mechanic that kind of hides parts of the world, but makes you think to get through even simple tasks of jumping up something, makes this a cerebral experience, and that's why it's great. Despite it being fun, and despite it being colorful, it makes you think, and that is the most rewarding thing. So hopefully, we'll have a Fez 2 eventually, that will bring us back into this world, and we can enjoy again. But until that time, I've been BombFish, and I will see you in the next one.